If your articulation is muddy or uneven, here are 5 exercises I rotate between each day in order to improve the crispiness and clarity of my tongue. The speed and consistency of articulation is one of those things that can make you go from sounding good to great as a saxophone player. Like I said, these are 5 exercises that I use to improve clarity, speed, and endurance. The first exercise is going to deal with lightness of tongue and ensure we're articulating in the right spot. We're going to finger low B flat, put air through the horn, and articulate as you normally would. However, we're not going to produce an actual tone. The goal is to not have a super thuddy articulation like this. It's almost getting a slap and it's super thuddy. That can be a sign that we're using too much tongue and articulating too far down the reed. This can be a super helpful exercise to ensure that you're not increasing the amount of tongue you're using as we increase the speed of articulation. Even I'm not perfect at it, but this is a great exercise in order to check up on the fundamental of your articulation. The next is an endurance exercise that follows up perfectly with the previous. You're going to set your metronome at 60, pick a note. I'm going to go with G for this exercise, and I'm just going to articulate quarter notes for a minute straight. Breathe when you need to, and you might be bored at first, but as you get towards the end of the exercise, you'll realize how hard it actually is. It might be easy to zone out in the middle of this exercise, but you're going to want to make sure you maintain focus all the way through to ensure that you're articulating correctly each and every time. You can mix up this exercise by changing the pitch or even the rhythm. However, I like quarter notes because it keeps the task simple. The next exercise is going to deal with 2 octave scales in this particular rhythmic pattern. If you're from Texas, you might be familiar with this pattern. However, we're going to add something to the beginning of it. I want you to add 4 eighth notes on tonic to the beginning of each scale, something like this. This is again a way to check in on the fundamental of articulation before we start articulating across multiple pitches. Those 4 eighth notes at the beginning of each scale are a great way to set the standard of what your articulation should sound like all the way through the exercise. Then once we feel good about it, we can bump up the tempo 10 clicks and potentially change the key. I like to perform this exercise every few days in order to check up on my single tongue articulation speed. The next exercise you might also be familiar with, as it is from a Longinus clarinet etude. I like to play this exercise at legato and really test the speed of my articulation. You can even flip the rhythm back and forth within one single rep. I would even recommend adjusting the key in order to work on articulating through different sets of notes. The last exercise I have for you has to do with changing the articulation patterns in the scales that you play each and every day. This is super helpful as most of the rep that we play involves many different articulation patterns. You can play all slurred, slur 4, slur 2, slur 2, slur 2, tongue 2, tongue 2, slur 2, and even tongue 1, slur 2, tongue 1. These are all patterns that can help you mix up the way that you play scales. You have to remember that your tongue is a muscle just like anything else in your body and is going to take time to get consistent and strong. Personally, I have to work on articulation every day in order to keep up with my colleagues around me. If you have questions about anything that we talked about today, comment down below and I will get to those as soon as I can. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.